Hello everyone, Ian here. And in this video, I was hoping to have a look at our mobile-friendly templates and then also delve into how our content pages work. And then after we've had a look at that, what we'll do is we'll build a page from scratch so you can see how quickly and easily you can start getting pages together. So to do this, we're going to use one of our example sites, this Mountain Brew Cafe template site. So let's delve right in. And if we go to the design area, this is where you can edit your website's overall theme. And so the settings that you change here will then take effect across the entire website. So I'll go down the options on the left hand side here. The first option you can see is change template. So currently we have our espresso template selected. If you click on here, you can scroll through all of our different templates and you can preview how they'll look with your content simply by clicking on them. And it will load up that template with the same content that you have on the page. None of these changes will save unless you click OK and then save. So if I just click cancel, it will revert back to the initial espresso template. The next option we have is header and footer. So what these two options allow you to do is to adjust the layout and content of your header and footer independently. So if I click edit header, you see it loads up a variety of different header layouts on the left hand side. So you can see how they vary. You've got some with the logo on the left hand side and then various content on the right. You've got some with the logo centralized. You've got some with the main menu sort of below, some with this top bar at the top. So we've got a load of different options for you here. So as an example, if I click on this one, fairly popular choice, you can see it's got the top bar that includes the social media icons, the extra links. You've got your logo on the left hand side and then your main menu in the middle, as well as these taglines on the right. So obviously if you need to change things like social media icons, you can hover over them and then you've got the settings option there. Similarly with these extra links, if you click the link settings icon, you can edit the text and then the link to where they link through to. For your logo, you can see we're currently using an image. If you need to change this, you can hover over it and then click the image settings, and then this will open up, if you click select, this will open up your image library and you can choose a different logo. You can also, if you prefer, switch to a text logo. But for now, we'll stick with an image, and you can also increase and shrink the size as well. But if I click header settings on the right-hand side here, you can see we've got some more options. So these are layout settings. So sticky header will essentially keep the header at the top of the page, even when you're scrolling. Full width allows you to move the content full width right to the edge of the page. And then you've also got the option to align the menu left, center. Obviously, it's quite packed at the moment, so you can't quite see the full alignment, but you can see it's changing from right to left there. But I'll move back to left for now. We've got some style options. This allows you to style the header top bar. So you can see at the moment it's just a solid color. You can change it to a border. You can change it to double border, translucent, or none at all. You can change the menu type to text links or just an icon or icon with a label. The menu font, you can choose between your content and heading font, which we'll have a look at in a moment. Then also you can change the menu text to all lowercase, capitalized words, or all uppercase as well. Lastly, the last section, content. So you see here that we've currently got enabled the extra links, the menu, the social icons, the tagline, and the tagline heading. But you can see there's a variety of other things you can enable. So if I turn on the account login, you can see the icon appears at the top. We've got a button that you can enable, the shopping basket icon, the shop search, and also a small tagline there in the middle. So I'm going to adjust these to get the desired look that I want. So you can see as I've removed the taglines, the main menu now spans a larger space. I'm going to remove the extra links. So you can see now I've just got the social media icons, these little icons here, and then I've got more space for my menu there. And then if I go back to the layout option, I may want to centralize that or move it to the right hand side. But as you can see, there's a lot of different options there for the headers and a lot of flexibility in different ways that you can display your header. So I'm going to just cancel that for now and just revert back to what I had initially. So discard changes and exit. So if you click on edit footer, you've got the same options here. So we've got a variety of different footer options, some that include things like column layouts. You can add logos and images, newsletter signups. And again, once you have the layout that you want, you can click on the content to edit it, or you can click footer settings, and then you can adjust the specific content on the page. So in the design area, you can also change the colors of your theme. So as I said before, these color settings that you change will then take effect across the entire website, and it just helps create a bit of continuity throughout your website. Similarly with the fonts, You can change the logo font if you're using a text logo. And then you've got heading font and content font options. So headings being there and content font being the standard text. And then these settings will then again take effect across the entire page. You can change a button style from round to square, and you can also change just the default text and heading size as well if need be. Now, if you're a current customer and you're on one of our older templates and you're looking to move over to one of our new templates, what would be good is to remember and maybe make a note of the current fonts and the current colors that you're using, because when you initially switch across to a new template, you'll adopt the default styles of that template. So it will be a case of selecting the template that you'd like to use and then adjusting the colors and fonts to match what you originally had with your original template. Last of all, you can preview your site in desktop, tablet or mobile mode as well, which is really handy to see how the content will shift on smaller devices. So next, let's have a look at our content pages. So if I click the content option on the top, you can see a list of pages currently displaying on the site. And if I go to our home page, you can just click edit this page on the right hand side and that will load up the content builder. So to add new content to the page, you can either click add block in the top left hand side. That'll bring out the block selector menu. Or if you know exactly where you'd like to add content, so for example, if I wanted to add a row of content in between these two blocks, you can add block in the middle there. And then you see the space has appeared here where your block will go. Now, as you can see, the content builder works in rows of content. So you're essentially adding rows of content and then you can edit the elements within that block. Now we've got a variety of different content blocks and you can narrow down your search using these filters on the left hand side. So for example, you can narrow down your search by blocks that include. So for example, if I click blocks that include an image and text, this will display all of the content blocks that we have that currently include an image and text. If I clear my selection and instead you can use blocks that are designed for. So if you want to create a gallery, we've got a bunch of blocks that are designed ideally for galleries. You know, they use a lot of images, great for displaying multiple images. Or you could choose blocks that are great for presenting products. You can see there, you've got the sort of the price underneath and things like that. And then again, you can sort of mix and match these as well. So if you want a product page, but you want headings and you want text, it will make sure that all the blocks displayed have those elements. And then once you've got the block that you'd like, it's simply a case of either dragging and dropping it on the page, or you can just click on it and it'll add it to the page for you. So now it's just a case of editing the placeholder content that is on the page. So for text, it's simply a case of clicking on the text, deleting it, and then you can start adding your own content. And you'll see that this little toolbar appears above the text box. So this allows you to change the text size. You can embolden the text, you can italicize the text. If you highlight the bit of text that you want, you can then create a link. I'll quickly show you the link builder. So you can either link to your internal pages, you can link to files that you maybe have uploaded to the account, you can link to external websites by simply pasting the URL there, or you can create email and telephone links as well. You can create bullet lists, you can also create numbered lists, and if you want to hide the text box completely, you can click there. You have these same options with the heading as well, so you can increase the heading size or reduce it. You can add a link or you can hide it altogether. So with the image, again, if you hover over the image, you'll see these icons appear. And if you click image settings and then select, this will bring up your image library. So you can also access this from the content area and then click images on the left-hand menu. And this will bring up all of the images that you currently have uploaded to your site. And then it's simply just a case of clicking on the one that you'd like to use. Alternatively, if you click upload image, you can upload an image from your computer. Or we now have our Unsplash integration. So if you click import stock images and I type in coffee, for example, and search, this will bring up a load of free to use stock imagery. And it's just a case of clicking the plus icon and it'll add it into your image library for you to use on your website. It's worth noticing as well, for any image block that you add to the page, if you select more than one image to use, for example, those 3 images, and then click done, it'll automatically create a slideshow for you. So you can see these are the 3 images I have. I can drag and drop them into which position I'd like. You can add links to each image if you'd like. So for example, if you're adding sort of a product banner and you want each image to link through to a different product, that's where you can do it. And if you click slideshow settings, you can choose whether or not you have arrows to flick through the images, or you can add dots at the bottom as well. And you can also select some autoplay settings there as well. If you just have one image selected and click edit, this will load up our image editor and allow you to just tweak things such as crop it, and you can add some filters and things like that. The open and lightbox settings, really good if you're creating a gallery. If you have this enabled, what that would do is on the live site, when someone clicks on that image, it'll enlarge it on the page, or it'll enlarge it to its original size for them to have a look at. And then you can also add a caption to the image as well. So for example, if I write test, you see the caption is currently on the image, but you can also display it below or when you hover over the image as well. Now, once you have the image that you'd like to use, if I hover over this image again, you'll see that you have the option to add a link. You can change the size of the image. And then you'll see here we have this aspect ratio setting. So if I click on there, it's currently set to its original size. But you can switch it to square, 3:2, and you'll see how it's keeping the same width, but it's changing the aspect ratio. So if I have an aspect ratio setting such as this, where the image is being cropped, this little icon here called crop position appears, and this allows you to select exactly which part of the image you'd like to display. But for now, I'll keep it back to its original settings there. So on the right hand side, you have these icons as well for each row of content, the top one being block settings. So the first tab, layout settings, you've got some options here. You can make the block full height, the full height of the screen. The padding option basically allows you to add space above and below the content. You see as I increase the slider, it's increasing space above and below. And if I uncheck this lock padding option, it allows you to adjust the top and bottom padding independently. Now this is really good if you want to create some breathing room between each row of content, but it's also really good if you want two blocks to appear like they're the same block, and you can reduce the padding and move them closer together. You also have the option to align the text vertically or to the left and right as well. On the Style tab, you'll see that you can add a background image. So if I was to add a background image to this block, it's not going to look very nice, but you can see here I've added the background image. And once you've added one, you can add transparency. So what that does is it blends it in with your background color. You can choose the alignment of the image. And then also we have this parallax option. So if you tick this, what it will do is it will fix the background to the back of the page, and the content will scroll over the top of it instead. So you can see if I uncheck this, it moves with the content. And if you check parallax, the content scrolls over it. It's a really popular feature, that. We've also got animations that you can add to the content, and top and bottom shapes as well, such as that. So lastly, on the content tab, similar to the header settings, you can add and remove content. So you can see here we've got the header and the text showing, but you could also add a pre-heading. You can see at the top there, and also a button as well. So it's always worth checking this section for any block and see what you can add and remove. So looking at these other icons, we've got block layout. So you see here we have some slight layout options. So at the moment, the text and image are sharing 50% of the width of the block each. But if I was to select this one, for example, you see the text gets given more space, and even more so there. Whereas if I select the top one, the image has got more space, and the text has less. And then you've got these two options which basically narrow the entire block, and then you've got the option to align that content in the middle. Up and down arrows essentially allow you to move the block up and down on the page, like so. And then if you click more options, you can duplicate the block and also delete it, like so. At the top of the page, next to the Add Block button, you'll also got this Reorder Blocks button. Now what this does, when you click it, it'll zoom out your page, and it would quickly and easily allow you to just reorder the blocks on the page. And then once you've made your changes, you can click the X in the top right. As always, as you're making changes to the page, it's always good to save your changes as you go. So up in the top right, if you click the save icon, you can either save and continue editing, you can save and exit, or you can discard your changes and that will just exit back to the content area. So for now, that's what I'll do. So now what I'd like to do is essentially create a new demo page, and we'll add some of the elements that you've seen on that home page and try and recreate some of those. So if I click add new page, I want to click content page. That's our default page, and I'll just leave these the same. So that's your page title that you'll see, the menu text. That's how it will display on your main menu, on your header. And then we've got some various other options here as well. But for now, if I just click Save Changes, you'll be presented with some presets that you can use to save time essentially, or look for a bit of inspiration. So for example, if you're creating a new homepage and you click the homepage option, you can see we've got some page presets that you can select from. And this will create the page exactly how it looks here, and then you can essentially just swap in your own content. But for now, if we go back and click blank page and continue, this will open up a fresh page for us to work with. So first of all, I want to add the heading that we saw at the top of our homepage. So you can see here there's a headline block here, or if I clicked heading, you can see we've got a variety of different blocks that include a heading. So in fact, I'm going to use this one here. I just clicked on it and added it straight to the top of the page. So again, you can just click on the text to edit it. I'm going to change it to create demo and then click the tick to be done. So you can see it's quite narrow. So if I click block settings on the right hand side, I can increase the padding like so. And I want to keep it equal above and below, so I'll keep that lock padding option on. And then we want to add that background image that we had before. So if I click style, background image, select image, and then scroll down to that cafe image that we had, which is there. I'll just click on that, click done, and you can see it's added it to the page. But it looks a lot redder than it did on our example, and that's because our transparency is set a little bit differently, so it's blending more of the red background color. So I'm going to remove about that much, just so we've got a slight tint. And I'll add the parallax setting. So you can see now our headings moving over the top of that background image. As always, I'm going to save as I go. So if I click save, save and continue, that'll save the page and I can continue editing. So next we want to add that image and text. So if I click add block and then click image and text, you can see we've got an option where the text wraps around the image. We've got some where the images are full height. We've got some with multiple images. But I'm going to use this one here, which includes a heading as well. And what it does is it keeps the text in its own column. So we'll add this one here. I've just clicked and it's added it to the bottom of the page. So what I'll do is add my own image. Let's go with this mug. So just click on that. Done. So it places it in. And then I'm going to use the aspect ratio to make the image square. But you can see it's given a lot of height. So what I'm going to do is click block layout and then reduce that. So it's a similar height to the text on the left hand side. I think it looks a bit nicer and allows me to keep that square image. So remember, instead of clicking the add block button in the top left, you can also, if you know where you want the block to go, you can also click add block below or above where we'd like the block to go. And then I know I want 3 columns. So you can see this all blocks that include 3 columns. Let's click image as well to narrow down the search. And I think a bit of text as well. I think this one actually will look really good. So you can see here, I've got my block with my 3 images. They've got 3 subheadings and some text and then 3 buttons. Now I don't necessarily need the buttons. So what I can do, if you remember, is go to block settings, click content, and then you see it says show item button. So I can remove that there. And what I might also want to do is add just a general heading as well. So you can see here we've got the option show block heading there. And you've also got show block introduction as well. So you can see there what's been added to the top. Then if I click layout, it might be good to also centralize this content underneath. So you can see we've got a line item text. If I click center, that will just center all underneath each image. So for my heading, I can again just click on it, testimonials. And then underneath you might want to add something like, this is what our customers have to say. And then let's add some 3 images of some happy looking people, such as this one. And for this demonstration, I need to make sure that the aspect ratio is set to original. Let's have this man here. And then let's have this lady here. So this is a good demonstration as to how the aspect ratio setting works and how it's very effective in these collection blocks where you have multiple items in a row. Now you can see that they're all given an equal amount of, they're all given equal width. So they're each sharing a third of that block. But because the aspect ratio is set to original and they're different sizes, they've all got varying heights. So if I go to the aspect ratio option and then select 3:2, you'll see it gives all 3 images the exact same aspect ratio and then makes them the same size. And then again, I can just click that crop position button to adjust exactly which part of the image I'd like to show. It's actually bang on already, to be honest. Just like that. So what that does is it just helps create blocks that have very nice, orderly looking images. And again, with these collection blocks, you'll notice the little add item option here on the right. If I click add item, it will just add further items that will match the settings that you've already got above. And then again, you can just click this delete item here to remove them. Now we've also got our carousel setting as well. So you can see here we've got 5 items. If you wanted to keep it one row perhaps and then have them scrolling instead, you can see we've got this carousel settings icon here. So if I click that and enable carousel, you see it moves it up onto the same row. And then I've got various settings here. So I can use the dots, carousel arrows. You can choose the arrow position, so outside, below, or inside. And again, you've got some autoplay settings as well. So what that will do is just allow you to scroll through instead. And here, if you need to reorder them, you can just click reorder and it will move them below. So you can just drag and drop each item where you want it. And click tick. And then once I'm finished, just click save and exit. And that will save your changes and take you back to the content area. The last thing I wanted to mention, if you're a current customer and you're currently using our older page types, possibly our static pages or page builder pages, you can identify which page you're using by the icon on the left hand side of the page name. So this icon here indicates that it's a content page, one of our up-to-date mobile friendly content pages. This icon is one of our older page builder pages. And then this icon means that it's one of our non-mobile friendly static pages. If you're currently using either of these 2 page types, what I would recommend doing is copying that information across to a new content page. So you'll manually need to add a new content page and then copy and paste the information across. If you need a hand doing this, I actually run what we call our website conversion service, whereby for a one-off price, I can move you across to a new template and I can also rebuild any non-mobile friendly pages. And then in doing that, I'll make sure to keep the styling as similar to the original and also the layout of each page as similar to the original pages as well. But I hope you found all of that helpful. As always, if you've got any questions at all, you can either ping us an email from the support area of your Create account, or you can email us directly at support@create.net. Thanks and see you soon.